Yeah, man, me tired and everything. Yeah? And yeah, man. Yeah, me have my full assistant and producers and that kind of things too, you know. Remember, you know, me this, you know. The good. Yeah? How we fight the battle, man. All right. So me have one more with up on the line and up on the line. What going on? You good?
Yeah, man, I'm good. How are you? Good
I'm
evening,
good.
everyone.
Well, me just run in and you know, I watch what going on. And we get that thing that we talk about today. And the thing with them rush through and them pass. But we have something where they seen one of the deputy DPP send out to them. Come on, play with them saying no. But you can't read that I think the film with the deputy DPP sent out to them today.
Yeah, it says delivered by email and by hand. And it was addressed to dear Prime Minister and Minister. Proposed amendment to Section 96 of the Constitution of Jamaica, 1962. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution and by extension, the Crown Counsel within the department are duty bound to prosecute crimes on behalf of the state, to advise government bodies.
Phone a drop. I know, man, yeah, the phone line drop because to advise. Me just say it drop. So to advise government body, right there, to advise government body.
Right. It says this function is of such vital importance that I'm moved to respectfully present to you certain critical considerations that affect the amendment of Section 96 of the Constitution in request of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions at this time. And she gave a background. It says, on the 25th day of July 2023, the Minister of Justice, the Honorable Delroy Chuck, KC, tabled a motion in Parliament to amend the aforementioned section of the Constitution. It was on that day that the people of Jamaica and the opposition leader became aware of the intentions of the government to amend the Constitution. Supremacy of the Constitution. The Constitution being the supreme law of the land, the process of constitutional amendment is one that must be treated with utmost care and due consideration. It must not offend the rule of law. For an amendment of the Constitution in respect of the Director of Public Prosecution to be effected, and in particular, Section 96,
Phone cut again. Phone come up back. Me know here, baby. Phone line drop. Section 96.
Sorry, guys.
Section 96. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Justification must be compelling and appropriate in the public interest, the interest of justice and the needs of society. The justification given by the Minister of Justice was to the effect that the age ceiling for both the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Auditor General is 5 years shorter than that provided under the Pension Act, he said. The proposed, and this is a quote, the proposed amendment to the Constitution will allow for the expansion of the term of service from 60 years to 65 years, thereby addressing the inconsistency that currently exists between the two pieces of legislation, and by extension, creating a more equitable playing field for all, unquote. This justification does not accord with settled principles of constitutional law, most important of which is the recognition that the Constitution is a supreme law, and any law that is in contravention of the Constitution is void. There's a legal term, you know.
Yes, right.
It'd be initio, yeah. Indeed, the supremacy of...
Phone drop again. Poo. You know, man. Soon come up back.
Folks, yeah. Oh, yes. So which states? 2, subject to the provisions of Section 49 and 50 of this Constitution, if any other law is inconsistent with the Constitution, this Constitution shall prevail, and the other law shall, to the extent of the inconsistency, be void. Consequently, the courts must take judicial notice of the fundamental law of the land, R versus Kurth Mollison, number 2, SCCA number 661-77, delivered 29/5/2000. All persons, government functionaries, and the legislature must also take notice and act in accordance with and with due regard for the provisions of the Constitution. The Constitution is a standard and crucible by which the validity of legislation will be tested. Acts of Parliament and other forms of legislations must therefore conform to the Constitution. Otherwise, it will be struck down for invalidity. This application of this principle was recently seen in the Nitz case, Julian J. Robinson versus
J. Robinson, that's Julian Robinson versus the government. With the right, so Julian Robinson versus the government, yes?
Where the legislation was struck down by unconstitutionally, and most recently the case involving detention of persons under the state of emergency. The Minister of National Security et al., Everton Douglas et al., 2023, JMCA _39. In addition, legislations being proposed for promulgation or amendment have to be vetted by the draftsman and committee of Parliament to ensure that they are not in breach of the Constitution during the enactment process. This means, therefore, that any dichotomy between the Pensions Act and the supreme law of the land, which is perceived, cannot be resolved by simply amending the Constitution. In these circumstances, so that it conforms with the Pensions Act. Rather, the Pensions Act must conform with the provisions of the Constitution. The rationale posed for the amendment is therefore flawed. The rationale posed for the amendment is therefore flawed. Okay. Unique role of the
Come on, phone, come on. Signal, stay up. Now we're going to listen to some things. This is where one of the senior director of public prosecution like today.
Yeah, I know. It's un momento, por favor. Yeah. Furthermore, when considering any amendment of the Constitution in respect of the office of the Director of Public Prosecution, it must be borne in mind that in its director, not an ordinary civil servant to be treated with as part of the same playing field as civil servants. Different functions and obligations exist in relation to their nature, character, and functions, and so perforce. Different conditions must also apply. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions is the office in which the framers of the Constitution invested responsibility for the prosecution of all criminal matters in the country. Furthermore, to ensure its effectiveness, the office has been accorded with independence from control. Oh, sorry. Something in my hand, just touched something here. Furthermore, to ensure the effectiveness of the office has been accorded with independence from control by any authority except the courts by judicial review, in accordance with the principle.
Going down again. Signal again. Soon come back. In accordance to the principle, no, reconnecting. Me connecting. Yeah, man.
I'm back.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so
in
let
according
me
to the
read.
principle. In according to the principle.
Okay, the principle of separation of process, yes. The mass of workers affected by the Pensions Act do not fall in the same category as the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
is right. It is pellucidate that the architects of the Constitution applied much care, thought, and examination into the establishment of the posts. The age bar was not arbitrarily or randomly stipulated at Section 96, but based on a national, deliberate, and intentional consideration for the needs of the society and the effective functioning of the office in accordance with the constitutional mandate and characteristics. Absence of any real inconsistency, it is proposed that there is in fact no real inconsistency between the Constitution and the Pensions Act. The Constitution provides for the Director of Public Prosecutions to be granted an extension up to the age of 65, where she has a
Gone again. Yes, some strong points.
Sorry,
too.
guys.
Yes.
My
internet.
internet.
Yes.
Where
is she?
Pension.
Where is she?
Yeah, she has attained the age of 60. It is noted that a 1958 amendment of the Pension Act provided for the age of retirement to be 55 years, and in special cases, 50. Section 8 Pension Act, the Pensions Act was amended a few years ago to allow for the age of retirement to be 65. It is now in accord with the Constitution, bringing civil servants in line with the age applied to the Director and the Auditor General from 1962. The extension process provided by Section 96 was in fact engaged in respect of the present Director, when an extension was granted for 3 years to end sometimes in September 2020. Uncertainties surrounding the extension. It must be noted that it is not certain what period of extension was actually granted to the Director, because like the general public, it has only been heard. No documentation to this effect has been
Down again. Boo. Boo. Has been. Has been.
This effect has been, interestingly, it has also been reported that an extension of 2 years and 6 months was actually granted and not 3 years. There is much uncertainty and rumors surrounding this extension. Indeed, it has also been rumored that the Director has applied for another extension, although there has been no confirmation or denial by the authorities officially. This atmosphere of uncertainty is unfortunate, given that the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions is a public office mandated to serve the public interests. Therefore, transparency, due process, and the utmost probity must be observed at all times in treating with its administration, operation, and most undoubtedly the retainer of the office holder. Contractual implications of the amendment, breach of contract. Another implication of the amendment is the fact that the extension of the age of the retirement materially changes a term and condition of the contract of employment for the two office holders.
Yes. I've gone there again. 2 office holders, right? Yeah.
Yeah, or themselves made representations requesting such a change, then Parliament by this amendment would be unilaterally changing the terms of their contract. A unilateral change of contract is a breach of contract.
Oh.
The minister has been reported in the press as saying that neither of the 2 office holders affected by this change have been consulted. It means, therefore, that by passage of this bill, Parliament is in the process of breaching their contracts of employment, which is a serious matter.
Okay.
Section 95 of the Constitution. Of significance in Section 95 of the Constitution, which prohibits the making of any changes in the terms and conditions of the employment of the Director of Public Prosecution to the disadvantage of the office holder. The section provides 95, the Director of Public Prosecution shall receive such endorsement and be subject to such other terms and conditions of service as many from time to time be prescribed by
Man, phone, stop that. Stop, go down. Yes, man. Up back, come up back. Time to time. No, come up back yet.
Yeah, sorry.
Come up back. Time to time. You reach a time to time.
Yeah. The emoluments and terms and conditions of service of the Director of Public Prosecutions, other than allowances that are not taken into account in computing pensions, shall not be altered to its disadvantage during his continuous in office. Changing the age of retirement is effectively a change to the terms and conditions of employment. There is no similar provision in respect of the Auditor General. Absence of consultations. The absence of consultations is also cause for concerns because it is customary to have discussions and informed examination of proposals to enact or amend legislation. The publication of the amendments to the changes to the Pensions Act a few years ago was marked by an extended period of deep dialogue with all stakeholders and dissemination of information to guide effective implementation. This was classic change management in.
So this time they not talk to nobody. Opposition, me don't want to hear you. Dictator thing. Me don't want to hear you and nothing. Yeah, man. Yeah. Up back?
Yeah, one minute. Yeah, it is. Hold on, one second. This amendment affects only 2 office holders. So rationally speaking, the process of discussion and consultation with them and all stakeholders would be far less complicated than the amendments of the Pension Act. Furthermore, it has been requested that the minister indicated that the proposed amendment had been at the Ministry of Finance from May. In these circumstances, there was more than ample time to have engaged the usual consultations in relation to the proposal. Timing of the proposal. The submission of this bill in the last few days of the legislative calendar and the lack of consultation with the office holders and stakeholders is of critical concern in respect of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. This is because the amendment would seemingly redound to the benefit of the present office holder, who is at the tail end of an extension that expires sometimes in September 2023.
Data check 5, yes. At the tail end,
right.
Yes. Continue. Yeah, man. She did the tail end. Now it's the next one from the office, you know, Director Public Prosecution Office. Seen one of them, seen the one, right? Yes, continue.
Yeah.
So it's going to benefit she. Okay.
Right,
continue,
right.
yes.
It says, in addition, we are awaiting the decision of the Supreme Court in relation to a claim by a convict, Mervyn Cameron, challenges the validity of that extension and any further extension. The entire circumstances beg the questions. What is the reason for these amendments in light of the absence of consultations? What is the great mischief? What is the great mischief and problem that Parliament must urgently address at this point in time in this rushed manner? Has the Director of Public Prosecutions asked for an extension? Is this amendment being proposed to enable a further extension since the Constitution clearly prevents any further extension? Having attended staff meetings with the director and heard her say that she is not certain what will happen in September, but that she will ensure there is a smooth transition to the next director, it is clear that there was some anticipation on her part that she might not demit office in September at the...
Oh, because it's just smooth transition.
Sorry, guys.
Yes.
On the other hand, the Constitution is clear that she will have to demit office in September once the extension expires. The question again would be whether she has requested another extension and the basis for same given the provisions of the Constitution. Respectfully, I say that there is need for clarity in respect of all these questions, having regard to the fact that the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions is a public office established under the Constitution and invested with responsibility for criminal prosecutions. Previous directors, in the history of the office, the present circumstances are unprecedented, as no other director has ever received 2 extensions. In fact, the provision specifically stipulates that the extension has to be agreed before the age of 60. This, in effect, means that only 1 extension can be granted. This has always been respected by all parties and all previous directors. The amendment, however, has a consequential effect of granting to this present director.
Mm-hmm. This is how the motor, you know. This is where one of the senior director of public prosecution, right? You come back?
It must. Yeah.
Continue.
It must be noted that Ms. Llewellyn is at present the longest serving director, having held office for 15 years up to present.
Yeah.
If this amendment is passed, she will not only serve 17 years, but could serve all 22 years if she gets an extension to the age of 70.
Mm-hmm.
The question must be asked, whether is this desirable? Is this the best way forward for the office to serve the public interest? Succession planning.
Sorry. Yeah, man, go to.
Up to the dimension of office by Mr. Kent Pantry Casey in 2008.
Yes.
At the age of 60, there has always been succession planning that enabled a smooth transition from the incumbent director to an officer within the ranks of the office.
Mm-hmm.
When the incumbent director has reached the age of 60. This has been in recognition of the fact that the public interest demands that competent and experienced prosecutors are well trained and their services retained for as long as possible to ensure.
Mm-hmm. Come on, phone, come on. Prosecutor, yeah. Senior prosecutor, chopping. Yes.
Institutional integrity.
Mm-hmm.
For those who are not able to serve as director, they are also able to transition and ultimately serve in other areas of the justice system with distinction.
Mm-hmm.
Other directors have consequently moved from the position of director to the judiciary as judges of the court, mm-hmm. Of appeals, and notable consultants.
Yes.
One very eminent individual being the Honorable Justice Ian Xavier Ford, retired, who served the Court of Appeal as president with mm-hmm. great distinction and scholarship. Mm-hmm. The late Honorable Justice James Kerr also moved up to serve on the Court of Appeal. Mr. Kent Pantry has served the country in various capacities, including as consultant and dean of the Law School of the University of Technology. The administration has always looked within the office of the Director of Public Prosecution for succession, and the policies for mentorship and training have, up to Mr. Pantry's leadership, provided room for consideration of persons within the office for the post of director.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Hop back again.
Succession, mm-hmm. Yes. Succession planning practices of the previous director. However, the customary transition process allowing for the transition of a successor seems to be stymied at this point, although there are competent and capable senior officers presently on staff. Current complement of senior officers. Currently, there are 5 senior deputies, one of whom is King's Counsel with over 20 years at the bar, and myself, a former director of public prosecutions of Montserrat, with 31 years at the bar.
Yeah.
Of note is the fact that Mr. Jeremy Taylor, KC, is the only second prosecutor to have attained the rank of King's Counsel on his merit. That is without being the holder of the office of director. His Lordship Justice Lloyd Hibbert, retired, is the first. Importance of due process. It bears reiterating the constitutional amendments ought to be for good and compelling reasons based on the interests of society now and in the future. It ought not to be based on considerations appropriate solely to the interest of an individual.
Read back this again. Have an individual. And this is what Anja do all the time. I mean, I say it will stop people when I forget up, you know. Not forget up.
This amendment is necessary for the good order and governance of the society. At this time, given the role and function of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, whilst the legislative power and autonomy of Parliament is recognized, it is settled law that this power must be exercised in accordance with the rule of law. The procedure engaged is very important. It is customary that where legislative amendments are being proposed, the government of the day consults with the opposition and stakeholders.
Yes.
In relation to constitutional amendments, there's an even greater necessity for consultation. Moreover, sufficient notice of the proposed amendments should be given in advance to ensure that the legislative process is not hijacked.
Mm-hmm.
Having regard to the nature and effects of this amendment, the importance of the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions to the system of justice and to the maintenance of law and order, it is absolutely imperative that the requisite notice given and consultations are had so as to.
And again, up back. Boom. Why in what thing they This prosecutor, right? And senior prosecutor to in the same office. Repeat. Go on, go through.
Right. It's transparent. It says required a process that is transparent, open, and consultative. The fact that the usual discussion and consultative process involved in amending the Constitution are not being observed in this case, and the proposed amendment was placed on the legislative calendar at the 11th hour is most unfortunate and very concerning.
Mm-hmm.
In this circumstances, as an attorney and officer of the court who has sworn to uphold the law and the Constitution, and also a member of staff in the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, I'm constrained to present these concerns to you. Justification for extension granted in 2020. The present director was granted an extension in 2020 on the basis, we are told, having never seen or heard any written disclosure from the government or the director that the justification for the extension includes that there are several high-profile matters which requires her attention, including the Klansman trial and Chance Wilson trial.
So hold on, don't move. So them say this is the justification because of trial. But them are senior people in the same thing, you know. Them are prosecutor, senior in the same thing. And them are through the Klansman trial, that's why them keep her on this. Or true for protect the government and the foolishness. It can't be judged. So if I act, this stop and she dead. The trial them in cancel. I'm coming. You understand? So they wanna go through. Eh?
In their thinking, it wouldn't, but of course it would, because there are people to pick up where she.
Okay, so we know say when the government has said no carry no water. Can remember we think different and them can't have a foolishness on here. Okay, life goes on. So them gonna say through the Kansas trial and the chain gang or whatever you trial, the anching or what them want trial. Them keep her on. Look how much things slip. And she I run up and down. This is way them come up with, but I really for protect them and keep them. It cannot work. Them a break the law. Continue. Continue.
Okay. So it says, we note that these cases have now been completed. Moreover, none of these cases were prosecuted by the director herself.
Thank you.
In fact, two of the senior deputies previously mentioned were the chief prosecutors in those matters.
So she not valid reason. So hold on. So she did that them themselves for deal with the case. So she never needed where Andrew them put people, this have to stop doing it. Continue. Continue. Can you hear me? Yes.
I can hear you.
Yes,
I'm back. What valid reasons are there now for a further extension, having regard to the fact that an extension of 5 years had been requested in 2020, but the government, after due consideration, granted only 3 or 2.5 years, whichever the case may be. Viability and growth of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. I must note that myself and other officers have grave concerns about the viability and growth of the office under the leadership of Ms. Paula Llewellyn, Director of Public Prosecution.
Okay.
Some have even expressed a lack of confidence in her leadership.
Good. And remember the world, we in the diaspora now. Shrek 5 can't do nothing for we because she figure out prison and do something, you know. So I'm about them senior public prosecutor 100%. Continue.
Yeah. An effective leader is one that inspires, motivates, mentors, and provides equal opportunity for the growth and development of staff and succession to ensure institutional cohesion and continuity. Of equal importance.
Come up, back. People at this. One of the senior member write to the Prime Minister and today. You continue.
It says, of equal importance is the planning and implement policies and strategies for the effective prosecution of criminal matters in the public interest. Under the leadership of the current director, the office has consistently lost some of the most gifted legal minds. The attrition rate has never been as high as is currently being experienced in the past 7 years in the history of the office. It will continue as there are many persons seeking to leave. Effective prosecution. Effective prosecution in the public interest requires a contempt practitioners. Of the 56 prosecutors, less than 50% have experience of 5 years and over. In this era of trial readiness and case management, and inexperienced prosecutors are being asked to represent the state's interest in prosecuting matters that are complex, serious, and are outside their areas of experience and knowledge. Furthermore, the constant complaints from judges, especially in case.
Back again, phone. So you see them in the office of the public prosecution, no, neither. Them know say them slanty thing for keep her and them lazy chat for keep her and just to keep her shall do it some illegal thing. Strike fire go yard. Yes, continue.
Right. I'm back. It says, furthermore, the constant complaints from judges, especially in case management court, point to the inability of the office to effectively prepare cases for trial within a reasonable time. There are many cases of significant vintage currently before the courts, which require particular attention and strategy that this office at present has not been able to address effectively. The recent case of Lance Edwards versus R 2022 UK PC 11 represents a critical warning as to the possible fate of matters of significant vintage before the court, even though a conviction has been obtained. Absence of representation by the director and Crown Counsel in Privy Council appeals. Remarkably and inexplicably, counsel in the office as well as the director herself have not appeared for the Crown in the Privy Council since Ms. Llewellyn took office in 2008. Prior to 2008, senior officers appeared in the Privy Council either separately or with the directors, including Mr. Ken Pantry.
Walk back, yes. So when I make hear everything, and like them down at the office of the DPP, them want to down there, them know it's a puppet thing, them I deal with. This said straight.
Right.
Continue.
The Crown has since been slowly represented by councils based in the United Kingdom. In fact, the Crown is represented by council based in the United Kingdom in the appeal of R versus Ajay Palmer, which is Vibes Cartel et al. It is to be noted that the Crown has been represented by UK-based counsel at erroneous cost to the public purse, despite the fact there are competent and knowledgeable prosecutors at the office who are capable of handling the matters in the Privy Council. Having regard to the unique issue that arise in trials conducted in Jamaica and our superior knowledge of local criminal law, criminal procedures, society and conditions of life in Jamaica, the Jamaican Council are actually better placed to represent the Crown. Additionally, the absence of appearance by local counsel in these matters also deprive the local prosecutors of the benefits of invaluable training and exposure, which are to be derived from appearing in the Privy Council.
Now again, to come back. So one of the senior prosecutor write to the Prime Minister and to Justice Minister, tell them what them go wrong, and I tell them, say that woman, when them keep her around for them to know. Because she worthless. She don't have no use.
Yeah.
She's a puppet.
Yeah.
And that it does say,
Yeah.
because well, you know, everything where you read, you know. You understand? And she each up in the office like nobody else must come across. And them say it never happened before. She knows she go home. Remember the same government give her them 5 years, them could have pushed it to 5, them will get 2.5 or 3.
Yeah,
why you don't want to get more? So them come now because you know rural them not going nowhere. You have some other people, them not touch nobody, none of them up there. And she each up with her Nancy Santa and won't move. Won't go shave. Yeah? She each up in the place. Really, send me ninja man, but man, they didn't owe she not charge. She said because a clansman. Can you imagine that make it even look more political? Because you have a clansman, you have 2 big gang, clans and one other. One of them said clansman line to the PMP and one other line to the JLP. But on go one gang alone. After them I create havoc in a Spanish town in St. Catherine. On go one gang alone to the date. Go Nasi Gaga, pluck out. One. If you say you go off a bad man and you have 2 gang, you pluck out the 2 gang. You know, I could have your son, you pluck them out. No, so it go.
Yeah.
I could have strike 5 and white here them. She pluck them out. No, them they can't pluck out them for weed out. You weed them have more lawnmower to Santa. See? You get rid of them. Okay, but you can't get rid of one and say 1 gang, but them did have 2. You understand? But everything what we know in front of our face, you know, she a play politics. This letter tell you everything. Continue. Yes.
Yes, clearly there's no transparency in this government at all, and honesty, you know. But the request, so it must note that myself and other prosecutors have concerns about the viability of the office under the present leadership. Some have even expressed lack of confidence in her leadership going forward. However, they wish to remain anonymous out of fear. In the circumstances, I'm humbly asking for a reconsideration of the proposed amendment. As in all the circumstances, it would be manifestly unjust and unreasonable for Ms. Paula Llewellyn Casey to be given an extension for another term by virtue of these amendments or any means whatsoever. Mm-hmm. The enormous challenge to law and order posed by criminal elements and the demands of prosecuting in this modern era requires new strategies and an injection of fresh ideas into the office of the Director of Public Prosecution.
True.
While
come on back. So the year at them write this today, you know, people. They have it. Them write it today. This is a thing with them write today. Come on, I'm show you the whole thing. Come have the whole thing. Yes, continue.
While we recognize and laud the contribution that Ms. Llewellyn has made to the office and the country, the period of change and transition mandated by when the age limits have been attained by an office holder have now arisen. Humbly, I say that it is incumbent on us all to recognize and respect this fact. Mandated by our Constitution, the supreme law, it behoves us then to initiate the requisite procedure to engage a new director who will take the office only into the future. Mm-hmm. Request for investigation. For these reasons, I humbly ask that an investigation be launched into the operation of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions to ascertain its viability. At this time, given the massive hemorrhaging caused by the constant departure of prosecutors, furthermore, I also recommend that an objective anonymous poll be conducted to ascertain from the whole staff whether they are in support of and have confidence in the leadership of Ms. Llewellyn.
Them now have none.
Conclusion.
Yes. Continue. Yes, so them now have none. It's said, and the whole of them not the DPP, but you know. And nothing wrong with the DPP office and all, something wrong with Strike 5. Proper line.
Yeah. Yeah.
And them
Yeah.
keep her around for two all on the sis. All on the hand. Them keep her around for 2 case. And she prosecute the case them neither, you know. So with them keep her around and really for protect them and the coke where them are fine and the dead man in a house where nobody not get locked up and the money were missing. So she did it for us protect it. Me say no care what happened to she, them for draw up and she for get charged for all these things. She are one of them too. What help destroy Jamaica. Yeah, nothing wrong with the DPP office. Something wrong with Strike 5. Continue on.
The individual. Conclusion. In the circumstances, I ask for the postponement of any further vote on this amendment and the launching of an investigation into the viability of the office. If this I am not certain that you will find that there are serious issues to be addressed, which may warrant a conclusion that the proposed amendment should not be effected at this time in respect of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, if at all. Yours faithfully, Kathy Ann Pike, Senior Deputy Director of Public Prosecution.
She one of the Senior Deputy Director. Senior Deputy Director of the DPP office, Kathy Ann Pike. And she come out and tell you straight. Strike 5 no good.
Yeah.
Kathy Ann,
right.
Raise me up to you. Because they know the office themselves will launch even investigation down and everything. And they might tell you, don't do this. Yeah? They might say, them come in a one day, people. And them have no consultation with the opposition. Unheard of. Never happen. By the way, you hear me, Ann? Ann, you hear this? Tell me something. So, the other day, when they must say young people time, but they want to keep strict till maybe 65 and 70. And then nobody else will get no job. Then people don't have no job or something. Who could have turn and do for them thing? Why not keep somebody for 70 for young people time? You know, see what they must say, make no sense. You see them catch you now. Them do everything that the opposite way.
That was just done to garner.
And you can't tell no lie and trick nobody again, you know. You see, them kind of rogue, people for go to prison still, you know. And a vote for vote out and left, it cannot work. Google Gaga, the man say, God help you. Because that same man run James. We about film na diaspora say him, them for elevate him and put him in the commissioner seat. And you see everything where you do, that man fi have the rod over the whole I want to sit down up there. Because I want to forget home. Yeah? Remember, when you can't sit down in there and turn without stone, I want to remember that. You see everything when I wheel out, even if I want to push him out, them can bring him back. When I hear that my real police. And you see what them do now, tell them the commissioner. And you see to him know about remember a fame time. Because I believe in that 100-fold. Believe in it. So when you wheel, you stick and be look some little political puppet, then for knock on. From the DPP, what's your name? Kathy and what? Senior public prosecutor. Pike.
Kathy and Pike.
Yeah, enough respect to your Kathy and Pike. Senior public prosecutor at the DPP office. Can't remember enough of them work at the office, you know. Enough of them work at the office. Yeah? So these are what she do. She itch up there and them have the confidence in her. Yes, still in find the government to run out. We have the confidence because she do what she do. She doing nothing. So for them think we keep her around a clansman. And what did a group name? Clansman or something to keep her. Eh?
It was an individual person.
And clansman are one person. Yes, to keep her around.
Eugene Wilson.
That's the gang. Wilson gang is a gang. So and remember, yes, a two gang. So for keep clansman, me no hear nothing about no one other. And the gang for keep her around. But yes, still, I know she prosecute them. She just stay there for protect them there. She not do no work. She a crisis. Yeah, the whole thing that you know just read. Two no. Yes, continue.
Not only the DPP office should do a poll with amongst themselves. I think somebody should do an independent poll and poll the citizen and hear what they have to say.
Yeah, no, but them, she knows the DPP. She knows nobody not like her out here. She knows nobody. We not diaspora. We know she a crisis. You know. We know she just send me ninja man, but she don't call. I know the man that charge on the house, and she could have overruled that and said that. When you do your trouble Zion, you notice she just back where she are back. The first thing she do in a 2008 when she took over pantry, just remind me the first big case where she run and she cut deal with. You want me remind you about the first big case? The first big case when she took over from pantry in a 2008 was the light bulb thing. What she do is cut bulb with chin and have current alone. Remember, if you and current or something, you prosecute both of them. But chin, they must have said chin lean to them. So, and matter of fact, the government turn around and give him big contract too. After the light bulb, after you say, well, him tie up in it. You turn around and get chin, that's why the case fall apart. Because if chin was a part of something, oh, me I cut the first thing she do, she just come and she like she thinks, oh, me I go for the Jaguar. And maybe let go him. And then give him a contract too. Like your boots, or if you give somebody contract where you just accused of $200 million.
You know, they say justice is blind, but not in Jamaica, justice sees.
Yeah?
Because it sees, you know, they say justice is blind, but yes. It's not. In Jamaica, it sees. It sees who it wants to prosecute and who it, you know.
Yeah, so it have eye in Jamaica. So she catch a man where him accused and him do one and say, oh, may do this. And when you look everything crumble, we lose $200 million. And some people say, current. No, we have a man there so where you say, well, him and them carry out this. And right away, you just go for the Jaguar. The first thing you do for them say, yes, man. And then Wi-Fi up. And then them have radio station with them control and things. That's why you see me. That's why you see me not ease up on them in sister. I remember me can't be bought out on them things. No, you're mad. This is me. So, you know, to me sister, them mash up the country. Me have to do a little service to the country because them want to get to them want to bully everybody. You can't bully. You can't remember. My born and going to some place where we not take chat from people and we not take bully and them things. Me not like bully, you know. When you bully me, I come at you. Me not like bully for you. I get bully and then me not like bully, man. Me deal with people on a level, but me not like bully. I mean, like, you know, you build a country you're here to serve, not for line in your pocket. And then nobody must talk. And then the people them cross Jamaica now make politicians use them, kill them own cousin, them own brother, them mother, them sister. And when you look, nobody die for politicians, them live till them old and then them dead. Them sick and dead.
Yeah.
You understand? So we are say, oh.
It is high time.
Yes. So we are say, get a youth to what to know. If me I want to grow up number one, me rather not talk to you, but me not hurt you. I mean I think I for hurt you. And if you're hungry, me feed you too. So me have a different way. But you say the big boy, them have not in every big boy can have enough brethren where up there them alright. But the rich and greedy, me no have nothing with them. Me no have nothing with them greedy politicians and either. We're stepping on people's neck. You understand? This way where them send today. You see what that said, sis? It read out complete.
It's high time.
Eh?
But it's high time the youth them get up now and start defending themselves, not with the guns, but you know, edificate themselves and stop, you know, because you can't live like this. Because you see, there's this suppression of the youths. And they came in and they wiped away programs that would have helped to elevate a lot of these youth and instead put guns and drugs and other things in their hands. But they have to decide, take a stance now. It's high time they take a stance.
So let me ask you something though. Say I forgot you. But when Andrew did come in with young people time now, and you try with an old woman with Santa, I'll be a mac and tan, the juke, the past way they cut up, mash up people. You she till she around 70. If you could have, you can't do it because you get stopped. We make sure you stop now. You can't pass 25. You're not. But say if you could have passed it, because them did a plan, you know. Them did a plan 120 years and it must still be this. 20 years won't even have a piece of rock left. No, now nothing left to the rate or this guy go.
The rate, yeah. But Wayne, there's something that I just saw in the Gleaner that says DPP defends leadership, hits back against the bitter seat.
She can't defend the leadership then, but remember, she come out, come talk, you know. She come out, come talk, right? You hear this?
Yeah, it says.
Remember, hold on. She come out, come talk. When she attack, who she attack to? Me she attack to? Me know that she has slaves leader. She don't have no leadership skill in her. Me know that she politically aligned and be a grass she do. Me know that she let go the band them kill Kentucky kid. Me know that she lock up Ninja Man and me know how she do it too. Me know that she demanded in the house and now bail in a Ghana prison. Nobody in a Ghana prison. All the whole of the case, the man know not even one of them big boy that Ghana prison under her leadership. Then she a leader. You could have billions of dollars, even the overrun, you know. She could have taken them over, investigate and say some kickback money may charge, you know. You know, so she not do nothing. How much place you have kickback money and thing? She could have run up and down and be people that get charged. She know the way like a stumbling back and stop it. I don't want to hear from no time out. She a crisis.
No, but you should hear what she's saying about this young miss, because she said, Director of Public Prosecutions Paula Llewellyn Casey has defended her stewardship and rubbish criticisms leveled against her. Llewellyn, in a statement today, also hit back against Senior Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions Kathy Ann Pike, who has bashed her leadership and management of the office. In a letter to Prime Minister Andrew Holness and Justice Minister Delroy Chuck, Pike spoke out against a move by
Yeah, man, up back. Yeah, man.
From 60 to 65 years, charging that the rationale given is flawed. Further, Pike asked that the Prime Minister commissioned an investigation in the viability of the Office of the Director of Prosecution. But let me get to what she says. Ms. Pike has always been bitterly, but the DPP dismissed Pike's criticism and described her as unprofessional, eccentric, and bitter.
You're rushing off. Hold on. So before the woman come out, why she never come out first and say this woman bitter and this and that about her? Because the woman come tell the truth about her, that's why she chat now. Because if you have an office and somebody like she, the DPP, just said about the woman bitter and this, why she never come out come say it long time? She thinks she can't trick anybody. She are the one maybe bitter, you know. Well, them meta them know. Bitter in our thought, can nobody not no one nothing to do with the DPP. You know, see what she do to Jamaica. Yeah, she back criminal. The one them up top, the big boys. That she back. We'll agree them not gonna prison now, you know. We are born them, say them have something for answer now, you know. Petra jump 5 billion, she not do nothing about that. She not work, you know. She's a stumbling block. So when she talk about Pike, we are tell her, make she call her name. Strike 5, call her name. Make her finish done, you. Make her done in here. You understand? Strike 5. You understand? Yeah, man. She fi go, man. She a part of Ed Crumble Jamaica. Eh? But yes, yes.
No, I said your listeners can read the full article, but I mean, she's calling the lady bitter, eccentric, and unprofessional.
Hold on.
Miss Pike has
unprofessional. When the woman does come to the truth and lay out the thing in front of me right there, so with everything with the woman lay out, that unprofessional, or the government unprofessional not to talk to the opposition and she'll tell you how the law for work and how it work. So which part of that unprofessional? The woman that tell lie on her, she's sleazy. The woman says she's a sleazeball. She go school way. And she not have nothing about her. She just itch up in her this time. Oh, you think you're Queen Elizabeth? You're straight 5. What she want, the 70? Yeah. She would the Queen the 70 by the tune. She want to come out when she has 72. Eh? And that's what she want to do. Yeah. But me think them say young people tell my young people if you have chance. So all this administration I move up people age now. Me think a young people them are going to bring in a day You know the thing no one because of that was the promise, don't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
everything when them say them go back here, man. Eh? You understand?
It far backwards, but she's saying.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. She's not easy.
She's saying she's bitter, she's unprofessional, she's eccentric, and she's saying that Miss Pike has always been bitterly resentful, extremely upset, and expressed feelings of hurt, and disrespect to me and other members of staff because she has not been pleased to head a unit.
Yeah, that head of unit. So remember, it's a senior director of public prosecution. So she has said she sit down in the way. And that she has said head of unit. So she has, but yes, still she not go one long time. And nobody not beat her far and the woman right. Because if Pantry did sit down in it, somebody could have said this and that and that. Me tell you what she do. So who beat her? Not she. Eh? She always use the word yes, bitter. Me don't know what she had tasting now. Me don't know everything she say bitter. Then she always use the word. And when she talk about Ninja Man, you know, you what kind of evidence she use and push for Ninja Man? Eh?
Circumstantial.
Eh?
Circumstantial evidence.
Circumstantial evidence. But for Patrick Bailey now, Bailey come out and say, oh, he is not a suspect. But you ever, which part of the world ever hear that? Somebody lock up you and them alone in your house, and them get gunshot and stab. And you say, oh, may I see parts? You know, me never hear the shot. You have to about 150 decibel. That wake you up and it multiply because it all go louder in your house, start echo. Through the walls, them, remember with the music, so we know all these things, right? So it all echo, it all louder, right? And you sleep, you see him to 1, and you wake up to 4. I don't know why that say you wake up to that, make it even worse. Because you're dead when you're dead. Because you wake up to 4. And you come see him dead with 22 stab with your knife in your kitchen. And the footprint them not dead, so you know it's professional killing. Them let in professional, police didn't dead. I mean I thought big police too. Police did dead. Yeah? One shot name and then them finish stab him up. I noticed the foot everything clean. Remember, you know, if it was some little youth or you think of like commander support more, them that leave foot, them don't have no time for go clean up nothing. Them all get bummed. Them all want to leave. Yeah. It's professional killing. Me not ask you. When we hear that from, because you know, me is up on the ground. So you can't go and look, go and look. See, that's why you find out, say, ACP run go there, and I talk about the man need bed rest. Just to call him dead, you notice it on the fingerprint. When you come to kill you, figure, sit down and stab you. Remember tell you this, you must have fingerprint, footprint and them thing there. When professional killer like this, them know what to clean up and what to do. You understand? That a professional police behind that. And then the whole of the man things gone. She charge anybody? She can't overrule things, you know?
No.
Okay. Yeah. And then where you keep her around for clansman thing? Eh?
But you know, it's just the actions of the Prime Minister in terms of the people he has surrounding him is just so obvious that they are there as his doorkeepers to keep him and his friends out of jail.
But how long you gonna do that? Trump tried. All right, let me teach him something now. Trump more powerful than you. You don't have the power. You don't have the power. Trump did have the nuclear them sit on pan. And I call the little man, little rocket man, I will destroy your little rocket man. And when somebody talk to Trump, he say, don't talk to me that way. I am the president. You remember? You are nasty. But the other day, I see him in a court and in my friend said, yes. Yes, sir, yes. You don't believe sir, in that because you have laws to go deal with them. Oh, and him talk every minute, calling, fire you. Fire him. I'm just tweet and fire you. In a female like the apprentice. And look upon him now. Eh?
Yeah.
Every man have a time. Be careful what you do, Andrew. Because you have to move. Election have to run. Remember, you can't seize the place. Remember, we nobody now, no Jamaica now, go make you seize the place. Google Gaga, you couldn't seize the place. So you know everything about it, everything about yet thing. That will never work. Okay? So election have to run. And when it run, nobody thinks that Andrew got the day for the 24. Remember about that long time because people know it's the lightest thing. Me rub out that completely. When me done exposing, because them that try hide them think they like him a good guy, you know. You know, see that?
Yeah.
When me come here, me notice, because we do facts check, me like, run the thing, you know. Yeah, man, I have to run your thing, man. So when you facts check him, everything where the guy come with is just pure lie. The guy saying poor, him never have nothing over money and them, but when them valid unbelievable. You know, going to politics to make these money. Papa, that can be able that rate. You understand?
Yeah.
And me, them attack like, how much billion, like them just say, $6 billion, 80 value more than that. $6 billion too, the money that value like 6 billion now where France take on a hit mash up yet, no bad management, bad government. Yeah? Let me tell you why you want me tell you why I know about management. In the 1930s, Saudi Arabia, the king, where you say the king, God no, I feel pity them when it prince this and that. Them sit in a desert, them there. Them depart in the desert. And some people from in the US and thing discover oil there and cut deal with them and drill it for them. And you saw them rich now? The kingdom rich?
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah.
And 1930, I don't know, go check it out, go look on it. So now tell me something about France 100 odd years ago. If you have good management, you bring back the place. And then we can find enough more place. See, now I'm going to say Singapore in the 1960s. Before the 60s, what did happen? It had some bad management, but them fix it.
Yeah.
See?
But interestingly, Singapore took part of Jamaica's financial model.
Yes.
And made and look at Singapore now.
But you see what them do, and them have the resources. So what them do now, them set up the factories and everything, and when them do, them buy raw material. And then sell it back. So when you buy raw material, you get to little or nothing, you know. But when you sell it to the world, you get 10 times the amount and 20 times the amount, so you must switch. You understand?
Yeah.
So them
manufacturing.
So right now them thing with them carrying for them thing are like 700 billion per year. Billion with a US. And that them are drying, you know. What we are drying. What we drying.
But you see, but also you look at Singapore.
Yes.
They have laws to combat corruption.
Yeah, and you know what them say, one businessman go out with a politician, them lock up the politician. In a Jamaica, them and politician mix up so in a bed. You open a room, and them and politician them bungle up like them a snake and tie up themselves like rope. Politician and businessman. And them actually tie up themselves, some of them because them really tie, you know. Them knot up themselves in a hard for pull, them tie. Them just tie up themselves. If you catch some of them in a song, them well tie up. In a Jamaica.
Because like Maria alluded, the amount of money in terms of that you can't account, you know, people are not able to account for it. Can you imagine if they could account for it and that money was put to good use? You would have good hospitals, good schools, good roads.
Remember play one thing.
Programs for.
Remember play this. I'm go back to guide where you just said. Remember play this when after them pass the thing where you hear thing they did a bucket. Yeah.
Continuing with major stories now, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck mounted another defense of the Andrew Holness-led administration's latest controversial move to retroactively extend the DPP's tenure. Celine Campbell takes us to Wednesday's post-cabinet briefing.
Justice Minister Delroy Chuck is dismissing comments made by the opposition.
Yeah. And I said freeze. Let me try to talk back fast soon. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck me just talk about, right? Let me see this. Chuck. Which one of them me just play? Defend. All right. That one me that play.
With major stories now, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck mounted another defense of the Andrew Holness-led administration's latest controversial move to retroactively extend the DPP's tenure. Celine Campbell takes us to Wednesday's post-cabinet briefing.
Justice Minister Delroy Chuck is dismissing comments made by the opposition in expressing their discontent at the government's move to increase the retirement age.
People, that alone, you throw them away. Because them same one we preach about young people. You have one woman, and you go through the whole of this to keep her. Because you know, them know say you have some DPP, I grab them, you know. I have seen a public prosecution today, you know. And a DPP today, you know. So them know say you have a seen a one where we grab them and not play with them. So them do them put share the head and them want keep her at the head. If you say them a protect her, how long she can last because she going to charge for crime too. You understand? Yeah.
For the Director of Public Prosecution, the DPP, and the Auditor General. The opposition, according to Chuck, is imputing the government's decision is so the DPP can overrule matters regarding the 6 parliamentarians who are being investigated by the Integrity Commission, a stance Chuck describes as unfair and unbecoming.
And the 6 parliamentarians, them want she know for overrule that, you know. And that she want, you know. You see the 6 parliamentarians, and them, you know. And them in the house, you know. 6 of them. If it was somebody like, because them have the purse, and you say them are enrich themselves, them want to keep she, you know, for she back them. Hey, people, a matter of fact, this can done. And okay, what them do, them are feel it.
The Director of Public Prosecution can overrule what the Director of Corruption Proceedings in the IC can do is so unfair and unbecoming.
Yeah.
The Director of Public Prosecution, during her tenure, has exercised professionalism, integrity, and
people. Yes, yeah, all like they should just strike where you're there. She put up professionalism and integrity. She have an integrity. Listen, Strike 5 in no integrity, boy, none. People be telling the truth. All him shouldn't talk about integrity because him not have nothing either. Nothing him in. Well, might have something him in because them like in, you know. But integrity, nothing like that. Them like the in, you know, in. You know, all when it go out, them take it in. You understand? Yes, them like in. But them not have nothing integrity. You understand? When you put it together. Yeah.
commitment to her work.
What kind of work should one committed to it? What kind? She coming to talk about beat and all kind of things. This woman at the 6, I let them want she let go the 6, you know. She busy there, the foolishness and understand say she going to leave and she going to get charged for these things. She forget charged for these things. Yeah, because she have to leave, you know. You have to leave. Yeah? All right. Play this.
And I find it most unfortunate that any imputation at this time should be directed at her.
Clarifying the recommendation for expanding the DPP's tenure was tabled from 2016, but later overlooked. Minister Chuck explains the decision had nothing to do with politics, but that both parties would benefit from the increased retirement age.
Foolishness! Oh, you benefit from all people. Oh, you got to train up your people them for go. She for go home. So if you keep her 70, so by if she lives to go 70, 3 score 10. By the time she feels retire, where you look, she drop them and dead. She don't have no time for herself. That makes sense? Who want you? But them just talk about young people when them take this big nose guy, put him on a talk about young people time. But them same one go back way no wanna push it down 65 and a talk about 70. 65 and 70. That don't make no sense to me. That means nobody must get no job on here. Yeah. For protect them. Because you have some other prosecutor, you know, where she can override them, you know, and say, okay, when I investigate a case, I know them a seen it too, you know. She can't do them nothing really, you know, but she overall them. Because the office big with enough worker, you know. Couple hundred workers supposed to do there, you know. You see? You understand? And them don't need because most of them are deal with the case and they can't overlook the case. Them just have her there. If anything, them can run and she say, all right, let me draw the case here and me stop this. Because she have the power over even the Sina one with the start to stop it. Remember, she has seen that she can't do nothing, you know. The one can't talk and that she can't come and say, make me fire you, can't work. You understand? So you shut up about the woman beat and all kind of things, yes.
But look, recently for their pay raise, and when they wrote the letter to the minister, She didn't, I mean, she as the head of the office, she didn't support them. They went out and did it on their own.
Good.
And it seemed like she was in alignment with the government.
She a drink and a cup like a cupboard. And a Santa drop out. So she must have fold it, try to fold up her Santa and them thing because I had to keep her like Peter Cushion, you know, keep her like a cushion. See? So, yes. So, all they say are there, you know. You don't bother look on that long time picture that. See, I don't know, I see her in her next mood, Santa make you run. Yeah, man, you make you talk about, man. Yeah, man. Bad for you. Eh? See, she for go a yard. She need to go to a yard. Because all she did is all up the chair to protect the wrongs and lock up ghetto youth. You matter about integrity. Which part she have integrity? What kind of integrity she have? Yeah? What she a do? The people them do their work. And not even she out there like a once somebody down there do the case. She don't go there to stop certain things. So you have some senior people there, you know, but she can override it and stop it. See?
Because it's obvious she's there for one purpose.
One purpose, because they don't want to have nothing else. Because them say when I talk about all, you know, a matter of fact, look how them contradict themselves. The other day, them say, two man, them all know, the other one, they want to leave. They make him go leave, because, you know, he want, oh, that's a Adisha. You know, take him out of that, because they might put some younger people in it, right? But she know we're 63. Right. You want to keep her and put her 65 or 70. It make any sense to you? Eh? And to just please she. To please one person, I remember I like around the whole place, you know. For please she, you want to please one officer and keep she. So you can close back. To protect them who do the criminality. Because she know about the criminality them, you know. She coerce with them up at the hierarchy in the police force. Just to go Google Gaga. And we can't tell you Google Gaga. No care where take. You forget punishment, brother. You and the one of them up there, so. Because I'm on the James, we have make sure push it. That James wanna push. We see one near run away against James to attack about a shit, you know, because we know him a shit him a below us. Him start below us down. So him a one of them too, you know. When they rope Peter away more name. Him a right now police are cussing like a copy thing, him always agree with government and do one bag of thing, you know. And run things against CM James, I think secretary or something, you know. Saying I want the Peter Roy, but I don't know where one name because I have some little funny little name. Yeah? That
he's a lawyer.
No, I'm a police, not police federation. Him not do not man, him cut against them all the time. See? So him did that about one push out him media thing. Him is the next punk. So him they don't consider someone in the country that below host the one. Him lean upon them, you know, because him love money bad too, you know, and sell out too, you know. Him is the next sell out. We know the sell out them, you know. Remember, every breeze blow, we know them, you know. Him are one of the pet sell out more now. You see me, I say? Him are one of them too, man. See? So this have to go home. This have to go home. This need to go home.
The thing is, they're not only increasing it for her, they're also increasing it for the Auditor General. So they feel like there's...
Well, for what? See, so hold on. So if you increase something, let me show you something. Look at them fool. If you're able to say 65, don't you increase it for the police them to go 65? Yeah. You increase it for the soldier and the nurse and the doctor and everybody? All of them in a government work. You just increase it. You can increase it for two person loan. But they're the one I use right now, one up full of shit. One of full stuff. And then all them come out of them food, it's reverse. Because this don't make sense. And by the way, opposition don't challenge this. Unconstitutional. Challenge it. So people who don't run with this. This is a foolishness. Then they increase it for everybody and then we have a whole set of people and the young youth them not get work. You leave from university and get work. Some people are stay till them are 70. We don't drop down diabetes and kill them and them all can't move again. And not all them just all and itch up. So she know when she fear Santa like from me don't know from when because she has 63 long time fear Santa we say no shape, none at all. Not at all. You understand? I cannot she will just go take care of Santa. That's when Christmas come, it can line it with some reindeer. You understand? Yes, man. Yeah, yeah, man. So if you go on, man, go take care of Santa, man. No, man. No, man. She for the square, man. We tell for say have this, you know, man. Straight 5. Eh? And she not the shame, you know. Eh? The people them down there no want her. You understand? She for go take care of, she for go, man.
But there's so many other groups that are silent on this.
Yeah.
PSOJ,
And JFJ. At the end of the day, I see them run come out for our call them is a piece of shit, you know. JFJ, you know. PSOJ, because them love this. Remember I said don't know for them. Remember, you know, although them run some private thing, you know. See? Remember say, you know, although them run the private thing, you have to investigate them because them do a lot of things. How can I run into them? For them contain, you know, clear power off, you know. So now for the thing them were coming, you know, at them, you know. See, if the Chinese them can carry in so much thing around. Eh? One shop alone, 200, 300, 400 million worth of fake goods. What else are coming, brother and sisters? That alone tell us a what now run right. What for the culprit when it come to gun. If them can carry, remember them bill AK, you know, China, you know. So if them can carry, one of them fake thing, them are carrying gun and bullet too. The AK, when you say more AK, and a joke. You understand? See?
And I mean, what type of example is this for the youths? Because
none.
I mean, they get up and they see people getting away with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They themselves, they're gonna do it because they're gonna continue in the line of crime because they look at it and they say, well, if the prime minister doing it, I'm not saying, you know.
No, but just say what you say because I mean, if it's the government to do it, because say if the government doing it, yes. Because just say it on a broader scale then. If it's the government doing it, what we can do? Why we can't do it?
Example. There's no example. So then there's no respect.
No.
The level of respect is gone because there's no one to set an example for the youths.
None.
And it's very sad. I mean, teachers. So that's why probably children behave the way they behave in front of teachers and in front of older folks.
Yes.
The churches, nobody. I don't hear ministers coming out and crying out for James and for what just happened, travesty, trampling of the Constitution. I don't hear any of them come out talking about it.
Them not gonna do it. Them not gonna do it. Them about film style Latino. Like you see them and get up and do this, you know. Them not do it. You understand? Like
So
them do it, them not do it, man.
Where are we heading as a country?
I'm gonna show you where we are headed. I'm gonna show you. You remember them said James for the goodness of the force, like him come out and the outburst, the outburst of attack or behave and that, you know, like him say the goodwill of the country and what have you. So you charge him for that, right? Now I'm gonna show you the next outburst, right? I'm gonna wonder if them interdict them after the police. Yeah. Let me see me can't take down that one here. Hold on there. Cause the police are more know. Me just want to know. Me just want to know because me just ask. Me have to ask, you know, because let me see this. When you might laugh at people about this a serious thing, you know, but I'm still like showing it, you know, because I don't know my style, you know. I know you laugh still, but you know, my thing them are some serious thing. Yeah, man, she right now Christmas will come. And the woman now go, you know, you understand? You Santa too, raga, man. Go and go deal with it, man. You understand? How do you them get them present? Reindeer now go and go around the Santa, ma'am. No reindeer now go and power with the Santa. Eh? You see me I say? Woman for go a yard. She need to go home. She need to go home. No reindeer now go power with Fair Santa. None. You see me I say? Yeah, man, no rain day not pass our Santa. At all. So she need to do something. Let me just take down this. Because I just take down this here. Now I'll show you something. Because the police, I come on now. We no good. But them always deal with people that way. Me just see McGregor tell people that threaten them to lock them up. Mothers and things that talk about kids not go to school and not threaten them way. You know, so that's the standard of the police. But them they do nothing to it. You understand what I say? Me I go show you something now, people. Well, I take the night, you know. Different from Santa because Santa, hey. And you know what I do? Mama and Jab have always have some Christmas tree and some other thing. Now I give you for put by your Santa. And the light them for light up your Santa because you don't know what to do with it. You understand? Straight 5 of you me a chat. Christmas a come. You understand? I do light bill not expensive. Eh? So if you go one man, go put Christmas tree and show on your Santa, make your Santa feel good, man. Put pepper light on it and light it up, man. But don't catch that fire because you know so that don't do it for the house. Yeah. Oh God, sorry. No man can. It's that bad, you know. That bad, you know. It's that bad for climate change. You understand? So yeah, man. But check if you go home. And you know, and nobody come tell me about where you work and about your this and that and it's showing on your work and you know, do nothing. Even the case that we are talking about, can you imagine we appear how much million and shut about 2 cans, man? Eh? And
yeah, because
Wilson gang,
they haven't been successful in prosecuting any of the scammer cases.
Them let the 52 the other day. 50 or 52 because no, nothing can go through, nothing at all. Pure foolishness.
There's something yesterday that a few more got released. The case was
up to the youth were killed. But the youth were mastermind where him stepmother there. But see him go him mark free. And the chicken man, I first never see this. So when the chicken man when you know a from nowhere and the driver, you convict them, but him you let him go free. I said, oh, them never want them not have to testify. If you grab them, or shall I up Ninja Man then? If you grab them and them have no reason for kill her, but the reason where it come from, and you let go him, what I tell you say? Oh, the phone and them thing, you just go away, man. Go away, man. See that they protect who she protect. You understand? This woman protect. Let me tell you what she do. She hey, them people here, who them call criminal, you know? Me I look on the whole of them, you know? Me I look on all the criminal, them, you know? Eh? But tell me alone I look on them. But me I talk, remember say, US I look on them, and Canada I look on them, and UK, and other part of the world I look on them. More you tell me something about them, about this, you know? When we not talk about, James. What name? Ron James. Right? Ron James, right? Them talk about Ron James. One them tell me now about the man here. One them tell me about that one here. Because if them can't tell me about Ron James, look on this. Wanna tell me about this now? Police. I'm put police. I'm put every town. No man, it's a reason why I put that man. Yeah, it's a reason. I can identify, me that's do something that I can identify him quick, you know. Yeah. And it's a reason why when I see when I see why I must put police every time. Right? Alright, I put police every time. Look on this. And tell me now, does the behavior not care what happen? Right? You all see that every time with the next police. And me want to know how they never join somebody for this and interdict them. Right? Look at police every time. Let me look on this. Police every time. Alright, I just want to take in this. Take in this. Watch out. Watch out. It's not embarrassing to the force.
Let me have the driver's license and document for this. Driver, let me have the driver's license and document.
Video everything, you know, Powell. Video everything, you know.
I don't have a problem with it.
Alright. I'm a sergeant of police.
Yeah, I don't care a damn.
And this is my driver's license. What else do you need?
Let me see your ID.
This is what.
Let me see your ID. Driver, and what is on there?
Here it is. You can't hold on to my life. Here it is.
Well, driver's license. Let me have the driver's license.
Yeah, what? Here I live.
That's an inspector, you know, this. One time, you know, but an inspector.
Whatever,
Never say assault me, no, sir. This is not how we do it.
whatever.
So if you break a road code and overtake, you give me cash and I give me a ticket and do whatever. You know, you're gonna push him up and do all kind of thing. Now you understand? You ticket him. You do the right thing. But you know do the wrong thing and draw a gun and then I push man around. The man that tell the same massage. And the other man that carry a video police to you know.
Driver,
And the one that the tight pants are police to him, I'm gonna like him the ballet dancing, you know.
let me have the driver's license.
Who you talking to?
Yeah,
Driver, let me have the
man.
driver's license inspection.
But you remember the case
Yeah,
that threatened the guys?
Remember it good. But show me I want the owner interdict them. But what I want now, well I know it's weird.
You're wrong. You come out
No, relax.
You push me.
Just
You
relax,
you
no.
come on.
Relax, no.
Everything.
Driver, let me have the driver's license
You don't
inspection.
go my driver's license after what you did to me.
Driver,
After
let me
what
have the
you did
driver's
to me.
license
After
inspection.
what you did to me. You're not gonna have my driver's license.
Driver.
You assaulted me. You don't identify yourself to me. You come out with a gun.
I
You
need that one
assault
to identify myself.
Yeah. I don't need to identify myself. No, in no badge or nothing, you know. The man said, I am sergeant, that and that and that. You identify yourself and you deal with the man because anybody could have drive the thing. I don't need to identify myself. You hear the behavior? Eh? Charge the man if you are charged. Identify yourself and that you can charge the man and show the man your license and thing. Show your man your badge or something. Because you say you're inspector, you're a sergeant.
So you come that breach of the road traffic.
Did I eat your vehicle? Did I eat your vehicle?
You're too
All
wrong.
that money to be slow down when we go through, you know. You see it? You assaulted
All the
me.
man is in the store and
See
make
the ID
why they
here?
overtake you around the corner. Why they overtake you around the corner?
All right.
Dangerous like
So
that.
you know what you do? Stop. Warn me for the offense and prosecute me. You can't come out and push me.
Right, yes, so no, him say, warn me for the offense and prosecute me. So as a sergeant, him I tell you to do the right thing. That was the right thing to do. Warn him for the offense and prosecute him.
You want a gun for me?
Let me have your
You
driver's
want
license.
to shoot me with my gun too.
Driver, let me have your driver's
I'm not gonna have my
license.
driver's license. For real, video everything, you know.
Driver,
Video everything.
let me have your driver's
And you are
license.
block the road, you know. And you are block the road. Me not block the road. And
Driver.
you are block the road now.
You must have don't need to go any further with you.
You're going to go further.
You don't need to go any further with you, you know.
For
I
real.
gave you an instruction, you know.
You can't do anything if you're police.
Driver, let me have your
And
driver's
I
license.
see when you come out and you assault me, you're going to identify yourself to me. I'm a sergeant of police. Everything should have happened, me shoot you. And you are block the road.
Hold on, you're checking me now.
Yeah, him done, so. The man say, if me trigger off him, I shoot him now. You what? You threat me now. Him say, you come out, you're gonna push me. If me trigger off him, I shoot you. You threat me now. The man say, if him trigger off him.
Trigger happy. You can't use a camera
Yes,
now.
sir,
I
no.
told police you can't use a camera too.
Yo, man.
You too out of order.
Listen, let me have your driver's license.
Me overtake somebody. You
This
see,
one
come
I
to
talk
me.
about evidence, you know.
Do the proper channel. You can't come out and push me.
The man
And
say,
drag
do the
out
proper
for me.
channel. Right? Do the proper channel.
What is your name? What is your name?
Driver, let me have your driver's license.
You remain.
Up to now, you have not complied with one of my requests.
See, you block up the road there.
I said up to
Hey,
now,
how many if you do this, you know? I don't mind if you block up the road, you know. I
Driver.
just want to block up the road.
I am Inspector Taylor. Let me have your driver's
Yes,
license.
no.
I'm not gonna say Inspector.
Inspector Taylor. Let me hear Inspector
Driver,
Taylor
let
talking
me have
now.
your driver's
Remember, say
license.
assault me, Mr. Taylor. Remember, say assault me. Remember that. Remember, say assault me.
Driver, let me have your driver's license document. Up to now, you have not complied with any of the
The one
requests.
they was ballet dance.
Let me have your
Remember
driver's
all the way
license.
you know, Mr. Taylor. Because I'm a Saudi.
Well, you know what it
I'm a
is?
Saudi.
All right, you notice that you get my name. What is your name,
I am
Sergeant?
Sergeant Barrington Martin, sir. You're out of
From
order.
Sergeant
You
Barrington
can't come out,
Martin
come
from?
push me.
Yeah, he fooling up. The man said, I'm Sergeant Barrington Martin, sir. You know, you're Sergeant Barrington Martin, sir. You understand? The man said, I'm Sergeant Barrington Martin. But you know, you have to like, oh, you say, I am Sergeant Barrington Martin, sir. But you know, say, sir, yes, sir. You're Sergeant Barrington Martin, sir. Listen, but I'm on the animal inspector.
No, you have not complied with any of the requests.
Listen, yeah.
Let me have your
Remember
driver's
all the way
license.
you know, Mr.
He
Taylor.
said,
Because I'm a
sir, you
Saudi.
know him
Well, you know what it
I'm a
is?
Saudi.
All right, you notice that you get my name. What is your name,
I am
Sergeant?
Sergeant Barrington Martin, sir. You're out of
From
order.
Sergeant
You
Barrington
can't come out,
Martin
come
from?
push me. You can't come out, come push me and draw a gun for me. Me now, you know, driver's license. You're doing the
Let us
wrong
know.
way, Mr. Taylor, if you're inspector. And you have blocked up the road.
Sergeant!
See, you have blocked up the road there.
Sergeant!
See, you have blocked up the road.
Sergeant.
And you have blocked up the road.
You have not complied. None of the requests that I make me of you. All right. All right.
Remember, see, you saw me, Mr. Taylor.
You should have said, charge him.
About the rail station.
I don't know where your station.
Property management and maintenance unit. Where station, Mr. Martin?
Remember where you know, Mr. Taylor.
Mr. Martin, I am from the property management and maintenance unit.
Service division, who names, which part, which station that, ma'am? Property management division, how's part that? No, me.
All right. All right.
Remember,
This one station.
So
them not give them money, or them
I don't know where you station.
Property management and maintenance unit. Where station, Mr. Martin?
Remember where do you know, Mr. Taylor?
Mr. Martin, I am from the property management and maintenance unit. Service division. Where are you from?
No, man. Mr. Martin, you know, I sang with this, you know. When him come from? No, but, when him come from, and they are dead one. When him come from? Because I mean, I know not, on the service division. Where you come from? When come from? I don't know. So this is 2021. So and I Google Gaga at the help. Indict them people at all.
I don't know where you station.
Property management and maintenance unit. Where station, Mr. Martin?
Remember where do you know, Mr. Taylor?
Mr. Martin, I am from the property management and maintenance unit. Service division. Where are you from? Mr. Martin, which division are you from? Mr. Martin, which division are you from? Sergeant Martin. Sergeant Martin, which division are
But I don't know when division where you come from. Okay. Yeah? And then, maybe you know, tell me, say, them build the station, them. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Them say come from. No, but I forgot to dissect that too. Where man say come from the property management service division. I can't dissect it, but me now. Never hear about
property management and maintenance unit. Where station, Mr. Martin? Mr. Martin, I am from the property management and maintenance unit. Service division. Where are you from?
Yes, we can't bother. So, you know, so for the standard of the post, and you see this, the behavior out the road like this, or them not getting addicted same way.
I mean, but it's obvious. It's obvious what they're doing with Ron James. They're just trying to silence him because they feel embarrassed within themselves based on because he spoke nothing but the truth. And they are embarrassed.
Yeah, but you can't make a Google Gaga fling the rank and file under the bus. Remember, I'm on a police. Him fling the rank and file under the bus and then I pick up for the government. Remember, you know, it's a union, you know, a police union. Yeah. Like how you have the private sector, and them have union, and the police union that with over 11,000 members, rank and file. So him have to do, remember, you're a chairman. So different from a police. And it's a police union, you have to do what a chairman do. And him have to talk and negotiate and come tough. Him can't go like a little, you know, say, they might run upon him, it don't make no sense. He have to stand up for him believe in her because he's not a Google Gaga. He's a man not a player. You understand?
Right. And if his colleagues didn't have confidence in him, I mean, they would have elected him to be their representative. So, I mean, that is just utterly.
So my brother tell me, say, I just said already, property management and maintenance service division. And that's him I said.
Yeah, what is he maintaining? the cards that's breaking down.
And then that again, you know, because you know, maintain that. You understand? Yeah.
That's why they break down.
Yeah. Yeah, and then give him inspector right there, so you know. And then, you know, put the gun and push man, maybe you talk to them, identify yourself. If you forget a ticket or if you forget charge it. You don't need for force and them thing there, you know. You know, if you try not go and push up nothing, you know. Yeah, see me I say?
Yeah.
You say, he might be, all right, you think go and be the fall guy, he might be the hero, man. This, where him run go do now with run, it a use carry him down, you know. Remember, he was not police, you know, and matter, he was not infantryman, you know. We don't ask. Can we talk up to last time, I phone I talk to my soldier bedroom them. So, him an infantryman, he don't know nothing about that. He just a Google Gaga. He don't have no headpiece, none at all. And then, see Shrek 5 there, the one of the senior deputy director down there tell us, say, she no good. The rest might not come out, but not for them where career people, them can't remember she alone can't stay down there, enough people, down enough flyers and things. You see, them know that she not good. Just when she is the next senior attack to her, me wish you did have some senior up in the commissioner rank attack to Google Gaga same way. I talk about them, make Google Gaga come talk. No, them join him with the arms house. So you see different those seniors and seniors start though. That's just a woman bitter. Fear Santa shot a reindeer. Yes, I don't know Christmas yet, but you know I mean. Wait. You know, say, my bedroom, them, but we don't in Texas enough deer, don't do what we want. You know, say, why should I go to Texas, Khalid? Shrek 5.
But you know why.
No, it's a reason why I'm asking, you know, why what is that good for her? Because the hunter them, they get more deer, because she attract the deer them. Because she carry her Santa over there right now, a bear deer, you know. Them not catch more deer. No, but the amount of deer, them there are wild boys and them thing there, you know, Santa that, you know. She carry her Santa over there, the amount of deer surround she. Yeah, man, the hunter them, they love her around, them never put out nothing for a decoy, you know. Them they just put her out for decoy, the amount of deer. I won't go for Santa. Eh? It's unbelievable, man. Shrek 5, go down so go live, man. On a ranch.
But
yeah,
you know,
yeah, man.
Just based on this letter and the fact that this prosecutor, she didn't hide her identity, it goes to show you that she's probably one of those strong persons.
She's senior. She's one of them. She can't.
Right.
Shrek 5 can't say them can't move her. So remember, a liar them in some big neck in the enough liars on there. A couple hundred of them.
Right.
Yes, and them do the case.
Right, but she probably challenged Llewellyn.
Yes,
on
she
a lot
will.
of things.
She's senior. Yes.
It's obvious that she challenged.
She's one of them big one up there. So them put her one in the seat though where like some case are coming, she want to override it and them she have to talk to the one of them, you know, like in a room and like the commissioner them now. Commissioner can't fire one of them commissioner there, you know. He can't do it, you know. He can't draw a card and the rank and fire. But after he reach certain rank, he can't do that. You understand? See? Right. So they let them up there, them could have said, hey, Google Gaga. Right now, if Bailey think him bad, just say Google Gaga make me hear. And tape it and send it, come give me video it and say Google Gaga, I hear that thing you do. Uncle Weird, make you even piece of your stripe, Bailey. Just say Google Gaga. Go to him and say Google Gaga. Where do I eat that thing? Right now, you make one some bun me out too. And me, I make loans and bun me out to same way too, you know, because I eat that thing me I do, you know. I follow politics and I follow party, you know. I mean, I change that and you, Google Gaga, yeah, help mash up the country too. Just and tape video him, want him video himself and sell it, come give me play it. Then I give him back the stripe, Bailey. Yeah, man.
Not in your lifetime.
Yeah, man.
Happen. But it's just a shame though, because, you know, for somebody like Bailey who has been through the ranks, he should stand firm and defend James. But obviously not. Like
no, because you see him up the up with a guy where him knows, you know, come through the ranks and them thing there. And you used to the beat and foot and go through the ranks. You say, me, you know, all right, that me know, say, my banner when I get up. You can't crush get up people, man. We'll never do that. None of my style. And that's my style. So maybe you have a spot that's, you know, say, yo, you have sometimes when you see some people and something we do for them, you know, so right now, some of them now have no food to eat, me not even ask. They don't know cook it, some of them they are hustle. And them have youth and them thing there. And you like you can't do too much. It's like you can't touch them and you say, John, you know where them I go through. You understand them way there? Eh? Wicked man. Keep it real round here, you know. See? Keep it real round here, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You have some of them right now where, you know, when I say suffer, them really are suffer. Them not have no food to eat. And if them even find a pound of chicken back of them, chop it up and find some a keep on a tree. And cook up 2 little things and just pay flour for buying you up and pay rice. But if them can buy it. And little sugar and water for tea, for just belch. You know, and then pick piece of bush. You know, some bees bush and boil it or so. And this is how them big pan day to day think that nutritious. No. And then you have some people who have the money. I mean, that's why I can't in at them. And you have some people when people are talking, you know, to make the place better, you know, them just think politically aligned because them can get $5 grand. Them sell you out for $30. Yeah? Them sell you out for $30. That no good. You see what I say?
And how do they sleep at night?
Me never know, you know.
Where the conscience?
They don't have none.
And where the wives?
You couldn't get up and just rob, and you know, taxpayers' money. I want to do things and set up tech well and do everything and then step in at the people them neck. And Ungo think, all right, Ungo think the Prime Minister come in and do him and them, chuck the one of them. Then put more laws to crush you.
Mm-hmm.
All I may tell, more laws to crush the people, them, more laws to crush them. Stand up in at them neck, charge them more. If them have no, your drivers, that's the first time 3 days, them said, no, you have it planning for a day. Right away, 10 grand or how much money. This time 50 grand. Them know you don't have no work, you know. Them are seize the vehicle. Yeah. No care where you try, them do everything for crush you. I mean, I said, a country cannot run like this. All we are telling them it can't run like this. People them not stand a chance.
But you know, when people need to get up now and come out and start protesting. Look at Israel. I mean, you have doctors who decided, okay, I'm not going to work because of the what Netanyahu and his cabinet did. And people come out and say they're not going to work, they're going to march and protest. And I think it's full time Jamaicans, those who are living back home, do that and put away the guns. Just go peacefully and start letting your voice be heard.
And more on them show them Netanyahu gonna change the power and take the power from the court. And him alone I do it. See the 2 of them here people. As I said, me I drive it up in the car, you know my fast. Look here. I hear the liar one side of Netanyahu. The 2 of them, you know. Look, when they can't tell which one of them are the more evil.
Well, Prime Minister Andrew Holmes, welcome to Jerusalem. It's good to see you and your delegation. I think this is the first visit ever by a Prime Minister of Jamaica to...
Yeah, the first visit. Nobody know where I'm going there, you know. But he makes sure go there. And here we go there for
So it has a double significance for us. Our relations are always friendly.
So your relation always friendly. Nobody have the relation. We do no Prime Minister, no come monsoon and them thing there. But our relation always friendly. You hear this? Eh? Never get a visitor, you never visit. Eh?
We appreciate the fact that then you didn't join the recent vote.
Appreciate the fact that you joined the recent vote against him. Against the Palestinian.
Against Israel, absurd vote.
Yeah.
But quite beyond that, we're talking about extending our cooperation. We just did for just the brief few minutes that we spoke. I could see all the potential for our cooperation in a variety of fields that relate to economy, to security, to technology, and this is something that we eagerly are interested in doing with you. There is a natural affinity between us. We're both democracies.
Yeah, there.
We each have our own challenges, but we flourish under challenge. And
so, Netanyahu, I said we eat about both challenges. He matter against the Jamaican poorer class of people then. Because if you can say, remember in like 2 countries, like 2 states, a Buckley, you know, a Jamaica itself surrounded by water, or we each have both challenges. Because different from that, in Israel, they have crime too, you know. But him not talk about them crime, them talk about the challenges with Palestinian. So who he might take for Palestinian? The ghetto people them? I must that. Yeah.
We'll be able to, I think, to provide a better future for our people if we cooperate. And this is a hallmark of cooperation. You also invited me to come to visit you, and I intend to do that in the sometime in the future. But I want to tell you how much we appreciate the fact that you're here, and I look forward to our discussions. So, welcome, Prime Minister, to Jerusalem.
Prime Minister, thanks for inviting us.
The man never invites you, man.
Very pleased to be here. Jamaica, like Israel, is a strong democracy. And we...
Jamaica, like Israel, is a corrupt democracy. Corrupted. Bad. Okay.
We have long admired the advances that Israel has made in technology. In particular.
Them long lie to you, man. When them never look at Israel and them thing, them and them know nothing about technology. But them long admire the technology. You hear him?
Cybersecurity, and in agriculture, and in other areas. And the potential for cooperation between our two countries is great.
Yeah.
And Jamaica is very interested in exploring those areas of cooperation.
Yeah.
The Jamaican people and the Caribbean region is our zone of peace, and we wish peace for all the peoples of the world. And we do extend our sympathies to the people of Israel for the very unfortunate attack on your soldiers recently.
You shouldn't even use that word. Okay, I know a soldier and civilian. I know the people them have them little thing what them do, and then they may have some tank and rocket and you know, what you call it, warship. You know, and missile, peer that, you know, helicopter, warship and all kind of things. And you matter about very unfortunate and soldier.
We would want to also pursue with Israel economic cooperation. And I believe in
that means our cooperation them that talk, you know, the gun them, the this, the that, if it's stepping out the youth them like them a Palestinian, for anger poor people like shit. Can I say with the answer, but like for pursue the economic cooperation, economic. I also want to see that. That means man pursue the rest of thing when go for
also pursue with Israel economic cooperation.
I also want to pursue
that. I believe in building strong economies, we can build a peaceful world.
Well, we fully agree, and we shall...
You're big and full. We're building strong economy. We can build a peaceful world. We're not stronger than the economy of US is quite strong. It's peaceful. Which world peaceful, man? Eh? Themselves gone. Them have freedom and enough things. China economy is strong. You think China people them can't chat? No, them have dictatorship over there. You understand? You have enough more strong place where you can't even do certain things. So you matter about the economy when it's strong, you build it, it make peace. It build a peaceful world.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all. Thank you.
This is, so that video there, no name sell out. That name sell out, them buy out. Them sell out. And they sell out. Him trick on up. He matter about young, but he still look how all a man push one woman in our office. 2 office alone. And I like the commissioner office. And I like the soldier, the whole soldier thing. And I like the whole private sector, you know. And I like the secretary, them, the ministry, them, you know. There's 2 office alone. So him attack his crap, his donkey poop. It don't make no sense, you know, to be a fierce.
But he's very silent on these 2 issues, pressing issues.
Remember, so I feel think that, you know. Yes. Yeah. Remember, I feel think that, you know. I feel think.
And look how they both of these things occur. Knowing that the court's going on recession for the summer,
yes,
and the parliament.
Yeah. He's a good man. We don't
well calculated, well orchestrated.
All right. We're not saying nothing else because we see the time around. So anyway, Anne, later no sis, come there, you know. Yeah?
All right, brother. Good job.
Care. Yeah, man.
All the time.